What's up, everybody? This is your man, Fred Hammond. Listen, welcome on board the 2012 One Love Cruise. You're watching Frequency Inspirational TV.
You're watching Frequency Inspirational TV.
God, Love, and Romance. It took me this long to do it, out of 30 years of being absolutely on the road and in the actual music ministry, and 26 years plus of recording. It took me this long to do a song or a record like this because I had to be emotionally sober. And when I say that, I mean a lot of times when you do stuff like this, people want to take you as wanting to cross over or wanting to do this, R&B thing and get it out your system. This was not that for me. I passed up R&B a long time ago on purpose. But I'm noticing there's a disconnect in love relationships between couples, married couples, couples being engaged to be married. And to me, it feels like the church is kind of ignoring it. I guess I don't want to say ignoring it as much as I want to say we're not doing something right. We're praying about it. We're having marriage counseling sessions about it. We're having marriage retreats, but they're going home in separate rooms. I understand what it's like to not be able to relate or to go through a difficult problem in a relationship and not be able to make it through. I didn't make it through my marriage. We didn't know how to relate. We didn't never see that thing in the home. The Bible talks very clearly about love lives and romantic love lives between David and his wives, Jacob and Solomon, Samson, Delilah, all sorts of romantic stories in the Bible. But in the church, we don't talk about it from that perspective. We talk about what they did, but we don't talk about what we need to do. We say all sorts of poopies and boo-boos and boos and stuff, but when we sing it, then all of a sudden, I never understood that. A pastor can get up and gush over his wife in the pulpit, and people will applaud. A lot of people are applauding. And some will get on slow and some will never get on. I did this for the people, the man and the woman that need that one moment. They're smiling at church, but there's a situation. There's a real situation at the crib. Something really went wrong. And they go home silently. I know what that's like, so, they put God, Love, and Romance in and they have something to talk about, or that spirit will be able to come over them and say, can we try it again? We were talking about our situation, which is, baby need a pair of shoes, even got a light bill due, telephone disconnect, waiting on my next paycheck, but I'm gonna turn it over to the Lord and He'll work it out. That was our mentality. And then something happened and I said, well, why don't we just sing about it the way we know about it, that our God is awesome. Let's bring God into our moment. To great music, put a little sauce on it. 2 discs on this album. There's my take on romance, and then there's God's take on my take on romance. Road Markers, When I Come Home to You, first song. I remember that it wasn't all bad. I may not have known how to be a great husband at the time, but I remember at some point in time when things started getting together, there was just this sense of accomplishment that said, man, I'm going home to my family. And what I wanted to try to do in this time is try to say, you know what? Marriage is not a ball and chain. There's another song on there called The Proposal. And I'm looking for that moment again to say, I'm going to say these words to somebody again, and I'm not just going to settle, because I don't want to be in the same situation. I need like-mindedness. If I can be the person that will honestly, she can believe in. I don't usually just write to write, just something that sounds good. I've never been the artist guy. My mother never put me up on the family reunion table saying, no, we're going to hear little Freddie sing now. Once upon a time I was little, at one point. There was something in me as a kid that wanted to witness and tell people about the love of God, or to help people. And when I found out I could sing and people would listen, I did it out of that, and it was birthed from a lot of things I went through. Face It All is definitely a part of that. People think that's a wedding song. A lot of people say, man, I'm going to play that when I'm walking down the aisle. But it really wasn't that first. It just turned into that. But it was for a couple that I could see in my head that looked up, and after 25 years, they've been through sickness and pain and separation and anguish and all sorts of turmoil. But then they look at each other and say, you know, we made it. I couldn't have made this journey without you. And that's what Face It All is all about. One more try. I was going through a little breakup myself, man, and to be honest with you, I couldn't sing the song I listened to the song and I cried for an hour and a half straight because it meant so much to me. It's like there's always that one moment where you don't know what to do, and pride usually sets in, and two couples go away and they don't want this thing to end. But then somebody has to say it, and the man steps up, and this time he says, let's don't let this come to an end. Let's not let this love die. Please, we got something. Everything I basically sung about, all as many songs as you've ever heard, I have experienced it. I feel what I sing about because I've been through it. The meaning of the actual words that are put together one behind another, they'll start to crystallize and they'll start to have its own meaning, and everybody will take it into account exactly what amazing love is to them. That song was written for people who have it good and their relationships are tight, and maybe they're not thinking about it when really they should be thinking, God, it's amazing that you allowed us to make it through when everything else around us is falling apart. Because one twist of the wind and trouble can knock on your door and change everything forever, and you get a chance to see.
You're watching Frequency Inspirational TV. To watch more exclusive interviews of your favorite inspirational artists, log on to frequencyinspirationaltv.com or your favorite Radio 1 station website.